Hi, it's Martin and welcome to another video on my Knit365 YouTube channel. Today's video is episode 1 in a new series for the channel where we're going to do a Christmas cake along. Yay! Ho, 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 and all that. I didn't do this before, but I've talked in previous Vlogtober series about my Christmas cake. A very British, I think it's a British thing. Maybe I'll do some research as part of this series about where it came from, the traditions, etc. But in previous Vlogtobers, I have made my Christmas cake, which is a traditional fruit cake. And folks have enjoyed seeing the process. It should be that stirring. Seeing the process of the cake from soaking the fruit up to decorating. And it's currently the 10th of November. So I'm about 2 weeks behind making the cakes where I usually am. And I was chatting on some of the Vlogtober blogs and someone suggested doing a Christmas cake along. And what a great idea. So let's do it. Shall we try and get into the holiday mood? I think we should. We'll have a change of outfit. Are you ready? Ta-da! So I'm not putting a Christmas jumper on yet. It is way too early for that. However, I can't hear you. We should have a hat, shouldn't we? We have a hat. We have a glass of wine. I haven't been drinking. Donna Jusha said, this is mad, isn't it? This is the first glass of wine that I've had in weeks. How long have I not drunk white wine for? Since I started being healthy?
8 weeks?
8 weeks, 9 weeks. I've been drinking red. We haven't got any. So, welcome. In all seriousness, I'm going to make my Christmas cake this weekend. So, I'm about 2 weeks late. Life, crazy, busyness. I'm not sure this is going to stay on. I'm very hot already. But it's Friday night. I finished work and we now have 2 days off work. So, we're going to be in London this weekend. I'm going with Mark to see Guys and Dolls at the Bridge Theatre tomorrow night. Very excited. And then have a little overnight in London. And then Monday and Tuesday, we're both off work. So I am going to make my Christmas cake. I might do one Monday, one Tuesday. Might do both Monday, we'll see. They take about 4 hours to bake. This is the thing with a Christmas cake. But I thought I would film a bit of a mini blog, get this up onto the YouTube because I said it was coming and I know a few of you have messaged me going, where's the Christmas cake? What are we doing? Are we making it? Yes, we are. So, brief introduction. I'm going to be making the recipe from the Queen of Christmas? Mark's by there. Queen of Christmas?
Yeah.
Queen of Cooking, UK Queen of Cooking, Miss Delia Smith. This could be the thumbnail. And this book is very well used. It is Delia Smith's Christmas. 130 recipes for Christmas. And I'm trying to work out when it was published. It was a long time ago. I'm guessing it would have been in the 70s.
I don't think it's in print anymore.
It's not in print anymore. Nice segue. I picked this up at a charity shop. It was in the 70s. This was published in 1990. Which in my head feels like, Mark should be in the camera, shouldn't he, right? I feel like 1970 was like 20 years ago, but actually 1990 was what, 30 years ago? So 1970 would be 50, oh my God, I'm old. Anyway, the recipe is in this. So if you want to join along, you absolutely, join along, cook along, join in. You absolutely don't need this recipe. For those of you that are watching this now going, what is he on about? Because I know like over half of the viewers and supporters of the Knit365 channel are not UK based. So I'll pop some pictures on screen now. So these are a couple of cakes that I made in previous years, fully decorated. It's essentially a fruit cake. Now, is there a picture of said cake that I can show you without the recipe? No, there's not. But it's basically a fruit cake that I'll show you the ingredients in a moment. And yeah, it's a traditional fruitcake for the third time, but it's made up with lots of dried fruit. So we have some sultanas, currants, we have raisins, and then we have peel, mixed peel, and we have glacé cherries. And basically you marinate the fruit, soak the fruit. Now the recipe says for 12 hours or overnight, but I don't do that. I do it for like 2 days. And the recipe also says to do them in brandy, and I don't do that either. I soak mine in orange and spiced rum. Yum. I'm going to take my hat off. I'm sorry, my head's very hot. So, traditional fruitcake, you soak the fruit, then you make a standard cake mix, flour, eggs, butter, stir in the dried fruit, a little bit of Christmassy spices like some mixed spice, some nutmeg. I was going to say coriander then. I don't mean coriander, cinnamon. He, well, like one mind. He knew what I meant when I was thinking coriander and I meant to say cinnamon. So like Christmassy spices, and the house smells all lovely, and it's very warming and romantic, and it's a lovely part of my Christmas tradition because my grandfather used to make Christmas cakes for everyone, and I've now kind of taken over. So I make square cakes. We make 2 squares, and I then cut them in half as you saw it in the pictures, and family members get half a cake each. We like Christmas cake as a family. It's a tradition. We don't go in for it like ravenous that we'll eat a whole cake each. So it works out quite well that everyone gets half a cake. So my plan now Friday night is to soak the fruit, and then we're away overnight tomorrow, so I will then give it a stir when I get home on Sunday, and then I'll stir it again Monday, and it will have the fruit. The reason for soaking it is because these are the dried fruits. So like the currants, for example. Currants from grapes? Raisins from grapes. Dry fruit. It soaks all the liquid up, and then the fruit plumps up and just tastes great and lovely, and it's really nice. So I'm going to soak the fruit today. So for my tips, I would soak it in orange juice and spiced rum. You can absolutely just soak them in orange juice if you wish. I would recommend that you soak it. So if you are going to join in and you have a fruitcake recipe, I'm not going to be able to give you my recipe because it's from a cookbook. So it is copyright, etc. It is Delia Smith's recipe. You probably can go online and find a Christmas cake recipe. You can probably go online and find a Delia Smith version of a Christmas cake recipe. So as long as you've got a basic fruitcake, you will be fine, and you can join in. And if you're not going to join in with a Christmas cake, but you want to join in and make a cake as well, even better, feel free.
Other cooks are available.
Other cooks are available. Yeah, who else does? Mary Berry must have a cook.
Mary Berry, Nigella Lawson.
Nigella, Mary Berry. Jamie Oliver's bound to have a Christmas cake recipe.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, Nigel Slater. Oh, Ina I wonder if Ina Garten's got a... I've never seen her do one.
We've got her Christmas book.
We have not.
We do.
No way.
Yeah, it's on the shelf.
Apparently there's an Ina Garten Christmas cookbook on the shelf. I didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yeah. I'm not questioning you on camera. We'll see. He's rolling his eyes at me now as if to say, don't question me.
I think I remember I actually bought it for you for Christmas.
He said he bought it for me for Christmas. I don't know if you could hear him. Anyway, so I'm going to soak the fruit, and I would recommend that you soak the fruit too. And then on Monday, I'm going to bake the first cake. What I am going to do is I'm going to do a double recipe because I'm going to make 2 cakes. So I'm going to double the recipe of the fruit. It says like in the recipe, I think it's a couple of tablespoons of brandy, just a little bit. Just smack it in, like 2 or 3 oranges, load of spiced rum, get the flavour going, mix it all in, which we'll do in a minute. And then I'm not going to do a video like this for baking the cake, I don't think, but I am going to try and do a video for Monday about progress on my MCAL, still doing section 3. And I'll put a bit of the Christmas cake baking for Monday in that video. So it'll either be up Monday or Tuesday. But we're not going to do a separate one. We will do a separate one talking about feeding and icing ideas, because I want to do something different this year. I've done the same thing every year. I think that's about it. Anything else we need to say? No? He's looking at me going, no. But I feel like the soaking is a really good thing, because it helps the fruit get extra flavour and plump up as part of the cake, which is really good. And then we'll basically bake the cake, we'll wrap them all up, and then at some point we will feed it, which we'll talk about in another one, but it's adding more rum to the cake to keep it nice and moist. My favourite bit. But we're okay, I'm 2 weeks behind. You could bake the cake and eat it the same day if you really wanted. The purpose of baking them early is you feed them, so you give extra brandy or rum or orange juice if you don't want to use alcohol, and it just continues to add to the flavour. And a really dense fruit cake, it matures with age, doesn't it? It's like a cheese. So the older it is, the better. And as long as you wrap it carefully, so I wrap mine in a double layer of greaseproof paper and a layer of foil, you can kind of keep them for a good couple of years. As long as they're airtight and in a container, they will be fine because of the way that they're baked. So the longer you cook it, when you cook it, the longer you leave it, the better the flavour will develop. But, you know, I've got 6 weeks to feed it before we need to ice them before Christmas. So absolutely plenty of time. So if you were waiting for the Christmas cake along, here it is. So I'm going to have another sip of wine. This is not going to turn into a cooking channel, by the way. This is a knitting and crochet channel that also does a Christmas cake along now, apparently. So let us go and spin the camera around, and then we will weigh out the fruits. We'll feed it, and then, yeah, I will be back in a moment to wrap this video up. But then, yeah, let's go. So there we go, all mixed in. You can now see it's glistening because it's wet in orange juice and rum. Right, we're done for this episode. There is the fruit. Are we going to try and show you how you could see there's liquid in the bottom? I don't think I can show you that. This is why this is going to be a food channel. So I'm going to cover this in a double layer of cling film and just leave it to absorb. You can see it glistening in the orange juice and the rum. But we'll leave that covered, and then I'm going to bake the first cake on Monday. So I appreciate this video has probably not got as many views as the knitting. Do you want a sneak peek of my... So I finished, you saw this, I finished side one and I sewed most of my ends in. I've got just a couple there. I am on side 3. I'll bleep that out. I just said a naughty word. I dropped a stitch. So I'm on side 3. So I'm going to try and finish that this weekend. Long weekend off work, etc. Sorry for the clanging. That was the needle. So yeah, very lazy weekend ahead. But episode 1 of the Christmas cake along is done, in the bag, in the cake tin. And I hope that you are all well. Let me know in the comments below if you are, because we've got a specific episode now for the first one. So let me know, do you make Christmas cakes every year? Have you ever made one before? Do you have any tips for other bakers? Any tips for newbie bakers? We'll talk about the baking in the next episode. But if you're going to join in, grab your recipe, grab some fruit, get it soaking. And then on Monday, we'll be back and we'll talk about the mixing and baking the cake. And I'll share some of my tips that I do about different grease-proof layers and a lid to stop it burning because it's going to cook low and slow for like 4 hours. Let me know in the comments if you've got hints and tips. Are you going to make your first cake? Are you an experienced baker? What are your Christmas cake traditions? If you don't make a fruit cake, what type of cake? You get it. All Christmassy related content below. There's not many days left. I've been talking to my team this week about like what training and development do we want to get done before the end of the year. And I'm like, well, we've only got 6 weeks left. Oh my God. Anyway, enough of this madness. Madness for the Friday. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you've made it this long, more knitting content Monday, Tuesday next week. And yeah, hope you have a lovely weekend. I hope to see lots of Christmas cakes. We need to think of a hashtag. What can we have as a hashtag? Hashtag knit365 Christmas cake. Should we just do simple? I'm looking at Mark and he's not paying any attention. I was right, by the way. He went to the bookcase as soon as we finished filming. There is an Ina Garten book there, but it's not a Christmas one. He was getting confused, bless him, that he bought me one for Christmas one year. So that was where the Christmas, but it wasn't. I was right. He's just made rude gestures at me. You wouldn't believe he would do such nasty things, would you? What should we do? Knit365 Christmas cake. Yeah. Hashtag knit365 Christmas cake. If you're on Instagram, tag me. I'll pop it pop it in the description box below. So, a bit of a tangent to the end of the year with some Christmas cake along, but I hope that you're all keeping well. So yeah, I'll be back next week. So until we speak again, happy cooking.